Hello everyone and welcome to Metagame Mastery, where it's not just about what the card does, but how it impacts the game. Guilds of Ravnica pre-release is this weekend, so we're taking a look at all its limited archetypes, including Boros beats. If you enjoy this content, click that subscribe button so you get access to all our latest videos. And if you're looking to order your Guilds of Ravnica booster box, check out our Amazon affiliate link in the description below. Without further ado, big time! Go time! Let's go! First, we're going to take a look at the commons because that's what you're going to see the most of in your draft and sealed pools. Now, in this set, the Boros specific mechanic is Mentor, and that's whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power. For example, we have Hammer Dropper, which is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, red and a white for a 5/2 giant soldier with Mentor. Obviously, having 5 power, he's going to be able to put +1/+1 counters on creatures pretty consistently. That said, with 2 toughness, he's pretty fragile, and you're going to see a lot of that as we go over the Boros creatures. Barging Sergeant is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a red for a 4/2 Minotaur soldier with haste and Mentor. Once again, really good at putting a +1/+1 counter on. He hits the board and has an immediate impact, which is very Boros, but super fragile. Blade Instructor is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a white for a 3/1 human soldier with Mentor. Super fragile, but really good at mentoring up your 1 and 2 drops. Command the Storm is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a red for an instant. Command the Storm deals 5 damage to target creature, and you're going to see a lot, and I mean a lot, of removal in Boros. Cosmotronic Wave is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a red for a sorcery. It deals 1 damage to each creature your opponents control. Creatures your opponents control can't block this turn. This card not only is solid one-sided removal for your opponent's tokens, for their little utility creatures, but it will absolutely end games as they're not able to block your attackers and that you come in swinging with your +1/+1 counters. Fresh-Faced Recruit is 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and 1 hybrid Boros for a 2/1 human soldier, and as long as it's your turn, he has first strike. This guy's great for attacking in, he's great for mentoring up, he's just a fine utility creature. Garrison Sergeant is 5 CMC, 3 colorless, a red and a white for a 3/3 Fiaschino soldier. He has double strike as long as you control a gate. Gates are going to be super prevalent in this format because one comes in each and every pack. This guy becomes an absolute beast, dealing 6 damage before you even mentor him up, and he's going to be a great mentor target. So will Healer's Hawk. It's only 1 white mana for a 1/1 bird with flying and lifelink. So easily mentored up, and you're going to get great value pushing through evasive damage and gaining life back. Luminous Bonds is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a white for an enchantment aura. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. So we're getting pretty familiar with this. It's an overpriced pacifism, but even at 3 mana, that's still really good removal in limited. Maniacal Rage is 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and a red for an enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and can't block. That's okay because we're Boros and we're just going to be attacking all day, every day anyways. This is great to put on your lifelink creatures. It's even better to put on your double strike creatures. Parhelion Patrol is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a white for a 2/3 human knight with flying, vigilance, and mentor. So I like to call this the poor man's Aurelia. It's very similar to Aurelia. It's evasive, and you're going to get value mentoring up other creatures, or it's a good target to be mentored up itself. Righteous Blow is 1 white mana for an instant. It deals 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. A situational shock is actually really good removal in this format. Rumblebelt Boar is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a red for a 3/3 boar. When it enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. That's a great way to get your mentor chain going. Once everything sort of started to reach equilibrium, this can pump up your creatures and get you a respectable body on the board for 4 mana. Sky Knight Legionnaire is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, 1 red, and 1 white for a 2/2 human knight with flying and haste. This card's been around since the first Ravnica. It always does work in limited, and it's a great mentor target this time around. Sure Strike is being reprinted here. It's 1 colorless, 1 red for an instant. Target creature gets +3/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Really good combat trick just in general. Acts as one-sided removal, but on top of that, it's especially good with your double strike creatures. Take Heart is 1 white mana for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You gain 1 life for each attacking creature you control. You should always be attacking in Boros. Always. If you're not attacking, you're losing. Wojek Bodyguard is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a red for a 3/3 human soldier with mentor. It can't attack or block alone, which is just fine. It feels a little situational in some sets, but in this environment, you're going to be populating the board with creatures every single turn if possible. And getting a 3/3 for 3 with upside is good value. Direct Current is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, red for a sorcery. Direct Current deals 2 damage to any target. It also has Jumpstart. You've seen how low the toughness is on so many creatures. This is a great way for you to nix 2 creatures off the board from 1 card. Maximize Velocity is 1 red mana for a sorcery. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. It also has Jumpstart. Great way for you to push damage every single turn because you're Boros, you're aggro. Just do it. Now let's take a look at the uncommons. Boros Challenger is a red and a white for a 2/3 human soldier with mentor. You can also pay 2 colorless mana, a red and a white, and he gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I love this guy. He's a 2/3 for 2 that puts +1/+1 counters on smaller creatures. That's great. You can mentor him up. That's great. And late game, you can dump mana into him so that you can continue the mentor chain down the line. Awesome card for this deck. Goblin Banneret is 1 red mana for a 1/1 Goblin Soldier with Mentor. You can pay a colorless and a red, and it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Once again, this is an amazing creature. You can mentor him, you can drop him first turn, mentor him up, or you can pump mana into him so that on turn 2 you're attacking with a 3/1. On turn 4 you're attacking with a 5/1 and mentoring up creatures along the way. And if they're going to go ahead and block that, good luck, because they're likely trading down to hit your 1-drop creature. Sunhome Stalwart is 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and 1 white for a 2/2 human soldier with first strike. It also has Mentor. Once again, these creatures are great. Having first strike on 2 power in this format is really powerful. It's very often going to be able to kill creatures of higher mana cost. And then on top of that, you get the additional value of putting +1/+1 counters on your other creatures. This is a very good bear for this deck. Truefire Captain is 4 CMC, 2 red, 2 white, for a 4/3 human knight with mentor. Whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target player. So you're getting 4 power on the board for 4 mana. That's solid. You're getting a +1/+1 counter for every turn that it stays on the board. That's also really great. This is a good, solid card for the deck, and it incentivizes your opponent not to kill it in combat because you're going to be putting pressure on their life total the whole game. Swath Cut Giant is 6 CMC, 4 colorless, red-white for a 5/5 giant soldier with vigilance. Whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to each creature defending player controls. Okay, so this guy's a beastie. He's a beastie with lifelink. He's a beastie with death touch. If you can add any keywords to this guy, he gets nuts. But getting a 5/5 vigilance that can wipe out your opponent's tokens, make it so that your first strikers are even more powerful in combat, that's really good for 6 mana. Integrity is 1 Boros hybrid for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn, which is a fine combat trick. Allows you to get your mentor chain going once your creatures have reached equilibrium. And then intervention is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, a red and a white for an instant. It deals 3 damage to any target and you gain 3 life. Lightning Helix, even at a higher cost, is amazing, allowing you to finish off your opponent with direct damage or act as removal. Legion Guildmage is a red and a white for a 2/2 human wizard. You can pay 5 colorless and a red to tap it, and it deals 3 damage to each opponent. Or you could pay 2 colorless and a white, tap it, tap another target creature. Really good at messing with combat math, acting as pseudo removal, tapping down your opponent's best attacker, or you can dump mana into it late to really continue pressuring their life total with direct damage. Gird for Battle is 1 white mana for a sorcery, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, allowing you to keep your mentor creatures relevant even after they've attacked in a few times. Glaive of the Guild Pact is 2 colorless mana for an artifact equipment with an equip cost of 3. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 for each gate you control and has vigilance and menace. So equipment is good in any limited deck, and this is no exception. Odds are you're going to have some gates since they're going to be in every single pack, but this is particularly good in Boros, allowing you to pump up your double strikers, pump up your first strikers, pump up your lifelinkers, and push the damage early. Goblin Cratermaker is 2 CMC, 1 colorless, 1 red for a 2/2 Goblin Warrior. You can pay 1 colorless, sack him, and choose one. He either deals 2 damage to target creature or destroy target colorless non-land permanent. So there's not going to be a lot of artifacts in this format. What you're primarily going to use this guy for is a bear early that you can maybe mentor up, and then if he's no longer relevant later, you can just pitch him to shock a creature off the board. Hezdah Marshal is 1 white mana for a 1/1 human soldier. Whenever it and at least 2 other creatures attack, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. Great target for mentor, creating more targets for mentor, spreading the value across the board. This is an awesome inclusion in this build. Inescapable Blaze is 6 CMC, 4 colorless, red for an instant. This spell can't be countered. It deals 6 damage to any target. Once again, great for finishing off your opponent if you've managed to pressure their life total throughout the game, or it's just really solid removal, nixing almost every creature in this format. Justice Strike is 1 red, 1 white for an instant. Target creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. Now, there's a lot of creatures in this format that actually have higher toughness, and this isn't going to affect them. But it's there's also a lot of creatures in this format that have equal or higher power. This will affect them and do it at a super economic cost. This is premium removal. Lava Coil is 2 CMC, 1 colorless, 1 red for a sorcery. It deals 4 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Once again, premium removal. There's so much removal in this color combination, it's ridiculous. Rock Charger is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a white for a 1/3 bird with flying. Whenever it attacks, target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. Great target to mentor up. These repeatable jump effects, we've seen them almost every set for the last several sets, and they're always super powerful, allowing you to attack with nigh impunity with your best creatures. Conclave Tribunal is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a white for an enchantment with Convoke. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. I know you're looking at it and saying, wait, Convoke is a Selesnya thing. That's true, but you can swing it just as easily with your mana. It's very splashable, and unconditional removal, especially removal that gets around indestructibility, is valuable in this format. Now we're going to take a look at the rares. Obviously, you're not going to see these as often, so these are going to be some of the more bomby cards. Tajik Legion's Edge is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, 1 red, and 1 white for a 3/2 legendary human soldier with haste and mentor. Prevents all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. You can pay a white and a red, and he gains first strike until end of turn. Wow, this guy just does it all. Once again, 3/2 for 3. I'm never a fan of that in limited. This guy more than makes up for it by having 2 relevant keywords, protecting all your creatures from burn removal, which, by the way, there are some mass burn spells that you have access to. And on top of that, he can gain first strike, which makes low toughness feel a lot more acceptable. Overall, this guy just does everything you want, nothing you don't. Great card for the deck. Legion Warboss is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a white for a 2/2 Goblin Soldier with Mentor. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 red Goblin creature token. That token gains haste until end of turn and attacks this combat if able. So, this guy's spectacular. You're paying 3 mana for 4 power and toughness across 2 bodies if he survives even 1 turn. If you manage to mentor him up thereafter, he's just going to help your board go wide very quickly, continuously pumping up those tokens as he drops them each and every turn. Great value card. Light of the Legion is 6 CMC, 4 colorless, white for a 5/5 angel with flying and mentor. When it dies, put a +1/+1 counter on each white creature you control. Talk about bombs and limited. Dang! Okay, 6 mana for a 5/5 flyer that, if it survives a turn cycle, is going to put a total of 6 power and toughness on the board, and it's going to be evasive. Already super powerful. And then just to add icing on top of that, she's going to distribute +1/+1 counters on all your white creatures if anything should happen to her. I mean, that's great resilience, and you're going to more than get your 6 mana investment out of this every time you play it. Response and Resurgence. Response is 2 hybrid Boros for an instant. It deals 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. That's just premium removal, kills almost every single thing in this format. There are a couple exceptions, but this is very, very good for only 2 mana. And then Resurgence is 5 CMC, 3 colorless, red and a white for a sorcery. Creatures you control gain first strike and vigilance until end of turn. After this main phase, there's an additional main phase followed by an additional combat phase. Okay, I got that a little mixed up, but this is going to be an absolute game winner. I mean, this is exactly what you wanted for a Boros deck, and it will break your opponents. Deafening Clarion is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, a red and a white for a sorcery. Choose one or both. It deals 3 damage to each creature, and creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. This is going to play very well with Tajik. He's going to prevent all damage to your creatures, and then you could just apply damages to your opponents, potentially getting a one-sided board wipe, also effectively powering up your first strikers, and then gaining a lifelink. You're potentially going to have a huge swing in life totals that turn. This is an absolute bomb in limited. Swiftblade Vindicator is 2 CMC, a red and a white for a 1/1 human soldier with double strike, vigilance, and trample. Dang! Talk about pushing the damage through. Make sure you have combat tricks, auras, equipment to slap on this guy, and he will go absolutely bonkers for you. Risk Factor is 3 CMC, 2 colorless and a red for an instant. Target opponent may have Risk Factor deal 4 damage to them. If that player doesn't, you draw 3 cards. It also has Jumpstart. You're going to be pressuring life total so much that it's going to be very, very difficult for them to take that 4 damage. This will consistently draw you cards, and you can do it twice. Awesome. And let's talk about the mythics. These are obviously the cards you're going to see the least, but potentially will have the biggest impact in your deck. Aurelia, Exemplar of Justice, is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, a red and a white for a 2/5 legendary angel with flying and mentor. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose up to 1 target creature you control. Until end of turn, that creature gets +2/+0. It gains trample if it's red, and it gains vigilance if it's white. Wow. I mean, talk about Sarah Angel with upside. Sarah Angel is a bomb in every format. This is better than Sarah Angel just on its own. But you put other creatures on the board that she can mentor up. This is ridiculous value. For 4 mana, you get a 4/5 flying, trample, vigilance, mentor. That's sick. Chance for Glory is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, 1 red, and 1 white for an instant. Creatures you control gain indestructible. Take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. Okay, so Boros is all about the aggro, but this is risky. If your opponent disrupts your plan in any way, shape, or form, this will come back to bite you real fast. Only play this when your opponent is tapped down, both in mana and hopefully they only have 2 creatures up. That way you don't have to worry about them convoking into an instant or a combat trick that'll ruin this opportunity for you. Otherwise, awesome card if you can make it work, but super, super risky. Be careful. Arclight Phoenix is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a red for a 3/2 Phoenix with flying and haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've cast 3 or more instant or sorcery spells this turn, return Arclight Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you're not going to get that combat trigger very often in this deck. You're very creature heavy. But 4 mana for a 3/2 flying haste, that's still playable in limited. So you're going to want to run this anyways if you see it. And crossover appeal is super important in this format because there's going to be lockets at common. Every single pack is going to come with gates. There's going to be the shocklands at rare. There's going to be a ton of mana fixing. So expect to see a lot of 3, maybe even 4 color decks. These are some of the cards that will easily integrate into your mana base, but get even better if you manage to splash another color. Assure and Assemble. Assure is 2 hybrid Selesnya for an instant. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains indestructible until end of turn. So you could conceivably cast this for just 2 white mana, and what a combat trick. Putting a +1/+1 counter on a creature, getting a permanent bonus, helping the mentor throughout the game, and then it gains indestructible to save it from removal or just a bad combat situation. Assemble, if you could splash some green, is 6 CMC, 4 colorless, a green and a white for an instant. Create 3 2/2 green-white elf knight creature tokens with vigilance. That's a great way for you to populate the board, and they will benefit from Mentor just fine. Well, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this content, click that subscribe button so you get access to all our latest videos. And if you're looking to pick up a Guilds of Ravnica booster box, check out our Amazon affiliate link in the description below. This has been Metagame Mastery. Peace!